It's finally here, guys and girls. The reveal trailer for Star Wars Battlefront 3 has been shown, and you are watching it right now. I'm here to give you my instant impressions on this game, plus some details that I've found out from some leaks. So, Star Wars Battlefront 3 will be releasing on November 17th. That is confirmed in the trailer, as well as a whole slew of different characters, environments, vehicles, and more. The game takes place on a variety of planets, a variety of maps, mainly focusing on 20 versus 20 combat, so 40 players, although it does scale down to 8-player matches as well for different modes. There is no traditional campaign based on what I'm hearing, which I think is the weirdest part of all, because that was something that I was super excited for and was heavily expecting, especially with some of the recent multiplayer-only games seeming to meet with so much hatred for lacking that single-player component. But alas, Star Wars seems like, as of now, it does not have that. The multiplayer, though, will have vehicles, no space battles, but flyable vehicles. So they've talked about stuff like AT-STs, AT-ATs, TIE fighters, X-Wings, speeder bikes, and they talked about the difficulty of balancing those with ground troops, and they wanted to make sure it works well, because you'll also be able to get access to characters like Boba Fett and Darth Vader. The quote is that the game will reward sharpshooters the ability to embody iconic characters. Now, that leads me to believe it's something along the lines of kill streaks, or if they don't go that route, then more of like a commander mode, a la what Battlefield has tried in the past. So one person would be Darth Vader kind of leading the charge. I mean, it says you will be able to use a lightsaber, force choke people. Basically, you're the boss of the battle, is the quote from the design director Nicholas Fergreus. That means that you, as Vader, can lead your team to victory if you play well. So that's where I'm getting sort of the commander vibe, although I think it would be cooler if it was a kill streak. I'd love to see a kill streak system where, 5 kills brings in, a TIE fighter strike, 10 kills brings in a Star Destroyer bombing, and 15 kills allows you to be Darth Vader for 1 life or something like that. I think it would be really, really cool. So there's apparently the ability to toggle between first and third person mode. The old Battlefront games focus heavily on third person. Modern shooters obviously are mainly from that first person perspective, so I like that ability to switch back and forth. I plan to play the game in first person, as I would expect most people will do, unless the controls are odd, though if they're like Call of Duty or Battlefield, first person will probably be the way to go. It does have 2-player split screen, and there is going to be a DLC pack that comes out before the movie that gives you the Battle of Jakku, which is the planet seen in the Force Awakens trailer. It's the desert planet that's reminiscent of Tatooine, and this expansion is going to be free, coming out 2 weeks before the movie, so in December, before the release of Episode 7, called again the Battle of Jakku, and it explores the moment following Return of the Jedi when the New Republic confronted Imperial holdouts on the previously unseen Outer Rim Enclave. So they're definitely going to tie this into the old series and the new series as well, and it seems like the game focuses more on the past, as this expansion will then lead us into the future, and perhaps future DLC packs will give us more of the movie stuff. Because it's coming out November 17th and the movie releases a month later, they're not going to spoil the storyline, the locations, the characters, so this makes sense. It may be a little disappointing because this is the main game tying into the new movie and the new trilogy, but I think that's going to be held back for DLC later down the line. Right now, it looks to be a very Battlefield-esque game. We didn't get any gameplay, which I do take issue with, because they were calling this a gameplay trailer. And let's be clear, gameplay means I see the game from how I would play it, and this was none of that. Sure, you can have the free-moving camera through in-engine stuff, or you can have cutscenes in-engine, or you can have CG. All of that is great and fine, and I enjoy those sizzle trailers of any shape and kind, but don't call it gameplay, because it's not. Gameplay means we see it from the perspective of the player, and that's something that we haven't seen yet, although apparently some people have. Most of the information I'm giving you today comes from a leaked article from the Associated Press, which I take to have a lot of credence, especially it was written in conjunction with the Star Wars Celebration, and I trust everything they're saying, and it seems like other websites are now echoing these sentiments. Supposedly, they've seen a 7-minute demo, which again, like, why didn't we just get to see that? It would have been so cool. But another interesting point about this game is that they clearly have made allegiance with Sony and PlayStation 4. A lot of people have worried for a while that Sony has no exclusives for the holiday, and that's something I've been concerned about for a long time as well. It looks like they're going to go the Destiny route once again and pour a bunch of money into a big partnership and hope that that will drive console sales. If you feel like Star Wars Battlefront 3 is a PlayStation 4 game, you will buy a PlayStation 4, even if really it's multi-platform. But let me know in the comments below what you think of this game. Are you happy with the fact that it is a bigger scale game with a bunch of vehicles and the potential to be these iconic heroes and villains like Darth Vader and Boba Fett? I'm guessing on the hero side of things, the rebel side of things, you will be able to be those kind of characters as well. The screenshots look really great. The in-engine trailer did look great as well, but again, we've seen time and time again early in-engine trailers be downgraded for final gameplay. So show me what this thing looks like from the player's perspective, and then I will fully believe you. Right now, it's looking very gorgeous. It has a lot of color, obviously tons of charm, and getting to realize these Star Wars worlds in full 1080p next-gen graphic fidelity is a great thing. I just want to make sure it looks this good when you really play it. Now, it's coming to PC, so perhaps that's where some of this is coming from. It is next-gen only, Xbox One, PS4, and the aforementioned PC. November 17th this year, it's going to be one of the biggest games of the holiday. Regardless of what the actual mechanics are or how it plays, the attachment to Star Wars is going to make it a big seller, and I hope that they back it up with a really great game, because to me, this skin of a shooter with Star Wars and just the powers and the different, just the atmosphere of this epic space opera taking place on a battlefield is much more appealing than just straight up military, which I've done a billion times for the last decade or so. So I like the fact that we're going to play all the classic stuff. I like the fact that we get a free Battle of Jakku Episode 7 DLC pack before the game comes out. I'm expecting many more DLCs, recreating future locations from the movie once that's actually put into theaters. But right now you've got 40-player Star Wars Battlefront 3, no campaign, but they do have something like Spec Ops, so like some challenges or modes like that, but no traditional campaign, which I think will be interesting to see how that's received. Titanfall met very harsh critics with no single player. Evolve met very, like a bloodbath basically, with its lack of content. So how will Star Wars finagle that fight? They do have a great IP attached to themselves, so perhaps that will just eliminate any sense of concern from the consumer. But again, no true single player. It would have been great to have a single player Star Wars shooter, and maybe that gets revealed later. They're holding it back. It's just a lie, but that is the word on the street right now, that there's something akin to like Spec Ops or challenges, but the focal point here is the multiplayer. Again, no revelation of how they're going to tie vehicle and on-foot combat together, especially with flyable vehicles. How do TIE fighters and X-Wings tie in with ground troops? Do you just blast them all away? Is there a separate arena? Is it a kill streak? Just giant maps, objective-based? How does it work? I like the idea of it scaling down to 8-player modes as well. Hopefully some team deathmatch stuff that plays pretty cool. I really hope for the inclusion of kill streaks, or at least some interesting way for you to access Vader and Boba Fett and the likes. But my overall take is that I'm super hyped for this game. I'm a little bit concerned based on its super close ties to Battlefield and my personal distaste for that franchise, but we'll wait and see how it goes. I wish they would have shown gameplay. Alas, I think that's going to be saved for E3. What do you guys think of Battlefront 3? Let me know in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video and it provided you some insight and you enjoyed the trailer running in the background. But that's going to do it, guys and girls. Thanks so much for watching. Have a fantastic day. Drink some hot chocolate. Star Wars Battlefront 3, Star Wars The Force Awakens. It's going to be a Star Wars year. And until next time, we will see you all later.